35 years ago, a comic book that was revolutionary came out. And it's called The Dark Knight Returns. After that was Batman Year One. After that was The Killing Joke. After that was Grant Morrison's Arkham Asylum. After that was Batman 1989. After that, Batman Returns in 91. And after that, Batman the Animated Series. We got the voice of Batman, the definitive voice, the eternal voice of Batman. And I mean that when I say that. Because this man cannot be replaced. I can't explain how I feel. I don't... When tragedies happen in my life, I don't cry until later. My emotional reactions are kind of delayed. Truthfully, a therapist told me that that's trauma related, but that's beside the point. Whatever it is, I get a delayed reaction. I cry later. This happened 2 or 3 days ago. I watched a video of The Appointment at Crime Alley. I'll link it in the description. It's a scene where Batman leaves a rose for his parents in Crime Alley. And Leslie is there with him. And she says, "This used to be a good neighborhood." And he says, "There's still good people in Crime Alley." And he leaves the rose and she hugs him. It's a small scene, but I just couldn't help but tear up. It's... And the montages and the tributes that I'm seeing just on the internet, on my Facebook feed, just everywhere. I've never had a celebrity death hit me like this. Batman died. Bruce Wayne died. It feels like Batman is a real person, and he's gone. From 1992 to 2000, or to 1997, would end the first 3 seasons of Batman the Animated Series. Or 96, I'm sorry. 97 if you include Batman Sub-Zero, the movie. And then began the 4th season, which became the new Batman Adventures, which really is the same show, just a new art style, same continuity. It really is season 4 of Batman the Animated Series. That went from 1997 to 1999. After that, would pick up Batman Beyond. Also, Superman the Animated Series was going on around the same time, in which Kevin reprised his role. After that, the Justice League. All the seasons of the Justice League, and then Justice League Unlimited, which would end in 2006. Kevin Conroy was Batman from 1992 to 2006, and filled the role through all of the highs and lows of Batman. After Batman Returns, it couldn't have come at a more perfect time. And it dropped right when it needed to. Right when we needed him. Right when we needed Batman. Kevin was there for us. Kevin's voice was there for us. When we were going through the Batman Forever and the Batman and Robin, the Schumacher era. Another soul that's lost. Joel Schumacher. And I've defended Batman Forever. I've defended Batman Forever on this channel, actually. But that was a rough time for fans of Batman, but we had this, through the 90s, through dark eras of comics where, Batman had his back broken and Azrael was taking over, and that wasn't really a great time. It took a long time. It took like 2 years or a year and a half for Batman to come back. It wasn't like the death and return of Superman, That event, Superman came back in about 6 months. Batman, it took a long time for Batman to come back, and he did. But the 90s was a rough era for comics at times. It was up and down. But we had Kevin, and we had that voice, and we had Mark Hamill, and we had that cast, and we had Paul Dini, and we had Bruce Timm. And through that dark time, the Justice League, the fallout of the Schumacher era and the Batman being dead in cinema for so long, but there was still Batman Beyond. There was still Justice League. All the way up to 2006. And Kevin Conroy, after 2006, you know what he did? He took 2 years off of being Batman. 2 years off. And he came back in 2008 for another animated film, which I'm blanking on the name of right now. But he came back in 2008. And by that time, he was working on Arkham Asylum, which would come out in 2009. This man was Batman. The moment he donned the cowl, he never took it off except for 2 years. 2 years. Okay? And then at the very end, he was diagnosed with cancer, and he took another 2 years off. And during COVID, so like from 2019 to 2021, and then he reprised his role for Multiverses. He continued being Batman through the Arkham games, through Arkham Asylum, through Arkham City, through Arkham Knight, and the whole time being in Justice League, Batman and Superman Public Enemies, Batman and Superman Doomsday, Batman and Superman, or Justice League Doom, which was an adaptation of the Tower of Babel storyline, adaptations of the story of Lex Luthor being president and trying to kill Batman and Superman and making them public enemies of the state. When this man wasn't adapting 70s comics in the animated series, which is what a lot of the animated series is adaptations of old 70s comics, Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams era, stories like The Laughing Fish and the one with the werewolf and Ra's al Ghul's introduction, all those, and many stories by Marv Wolfman as well, and like classic DC Comics writers, veterans. I believe Marv Wolfman wrote the Clayface episode. The incredible innovations of Harley Quinn and Mr. Freeze by Paul Dini. Just the way that show carried the torch and defined Batman in such a way, it can't be understated. And this man carried it for so long, through the Tim Burton era, through the Joel Schumacher era, through the Dark Knight era, through the Christopher Nolan era. From 1992 to 2006? Are you kidding me? I mean, that's from Batman Returns to Batman Begins. Batman died the other day. And he could have kept going. And it snuck up on me. And it changes the context of everything. It changes the context of Arkham City. It changes the context of Arkham Knight. The scene in Arkham City when Batman sees the light. He's dying from the virus that Joker gave him through the Titan formula. And he's dying, and his mom and dad show up, and they say, Bruce, can you hear me? You need to step into the light. Your father and I have missed you so much. You need to do it, Bruce. And he gets up, and Batgirl's saying, your vitals, they're dropping, they're in free fall. And Kevin's like, I'll make it. Like, I can't emphasize how much that means to me more than I can possibly give right now. It's so huge. And Arkham Knight, the scenes where of passing the torch. You know, that Batman knows it's over. And what he says to Selina, that it's over. You know, someone else is going to have to take up the cowl. It changes the context of Arkham Knight so fully, you know. And I'm someone that was very critical of Arkham Knight on this channel, on my video, which I don't even know how many people saw it. You know, who cares? But Arkham Knight, I still stand by a lot of what was said, a lot of how I feel about that game. But man, does it change the context now. Because Kevin, and I said this in the video, Kevin absolutely gave his best performance as Batman in Arkham Knight. His most intense performance, his most, honestly, his most Christian Bale performance. It felt very Christian Bale to the most that he could push it, you know, without losing his animated series touch. He carried it for so long. And when Arkham Knight was done, he was in Injustice 2. And Injustice 3 is coming, and we're not going to hear his voice in that. After that, he went on to do Justice League Action. He was in a few other animated movies. I don't remember all of them. He was in the Killing Joke movie, which I didn't like the Killing Joke movie and what they did to it. But, hey, he was there. He was there. He came to bat. You know, when he was adapting these incredible Batman stories, when they were adapting these incredible Batman stories, he showed up. These comic book lore significant stories, you know, that matter so much, that are part of this legacy, part of this castle, this pyramid that's been built for years. You know, he was there for all of it. He is the voice of Batman. When you read a comic book, it's been said before. It's all been said before. But when you read a comic book, you read it in his voice. In fact, for me as a barometer, I know that a comic is being written in a way that's a little bit too different, or maybe not to my taste, if I read the lines and I can't read it in Kevin's voice. If I read a line in a comic book, in a Batman comic book, and I can't read it like Kevin would like the way Kevin would say it, then I know it's a different Batman. I know it's like I have to read it in a different voice. I have to read it in almost I was gonna say a Ben Affleck voice, but not really. It's more like and I mean no offense, but to a Michael Keaton voice. Michael Keaton's maybe my second favorite Batman. I love Michael Keaton, but his Batman was a little bit more unpredictable. Like the Let's Get Nuts scene. Like when someone's writing Batman and maybe they're kind of shitty at writing Batman. Maybe they're not doing the best job, or maybe they're just writing him a little bit too out of character. They're breaking a lot of the rules. I have to read the line then in Michael Keaton's voice because his Batman was a little bit more unpredictable, a little bit more off the wall. But when it's Batman, when a writer is hitting all the right notes and they're writing Batman and they're knocking it out of the park, when that's happening, I know because I'm reading it in Kevin's voice and it's flowing. So after that, after Arkham Knight, after Injustice 2, and after The Killing Joke, he did Justice League Action, which was a kid's show. A lot of humor directed at children, you know. I never really saw much of it. I saw some clips on YouTube, but that's about it. And after that, he did Justice League versus the Fatal Five, which is his last appearance as Batman, basically. Well, except for Multiverses, the fighting game that just came out. But his last proper appearance as Batman was in Justice League and the Fatal Five, and that was a reunion movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm gonna see it. You can bet I'm gonna see it now. Because I didn't think this was gonna happen. I didn't know. You know, this man could have kept going. He could have kept voicing Batman into his 70s, into his maybe his 80s, I don't know. He could have kept going. But this hurts. And I needed to put this hurt out there. I needed to put this pain out there. I I'm without words, really. Beyond that, I mean, well, obviously I have a lot of words, but these words have been built up inside of me all these past 2 days, past 3 days. On Twitter, only a week ago, he said Happy Halloween, or a few weeks ago, he said Happy Halloween, and he posted a picture of himself. Happy Halloween from Wayne Manor. There's a picture of him at his house. There's a great video that's been going around of him sending a video to a fan named Maddie. He sent a fan a video. And Maddie was going through hardship. His grandmother was dying. I'll link a video in the description to this. His grandmother was dying, and Kevin was helping him. Telling him that their spirit lives on. And to not give up the faith, not to give up hope. You know, that's like a real superhero. That's what he's doing. Oh my God. So, yeah, they've had many Batman actors in voice in cartoons that have replaced Kevin, but not replaced him. Because Kevin has been Batman every year from 1992 to 2006, took 2 years off, then continued to reprise his role every year until 2020. In at least one movie, in at least one video game. Another one he was in Lego DC Supervillains. I forgot about that. So he was even showing up in the Legos, in the Lego games. I mean, all I can do is clap for him. And hope that he hears me. So that's what I leave you all with. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for everything that you've given. I don't see Batman without you. I can't picture it without you. This picture that I found on Twitter, it's beautiful. I don't know who drew it. I don't know who made this, but I'd like to link them or source them, but I reverse image searched it and I couldn't find it online. So, if anyone finds it, or if I find it, I'll put a link to source the person that drew this. Anyways, I have a video coming up about Spider-Man. That doesn't even matter. I don't even know why I brought that up. This is about Kevin. This is about Batman. But I do have a video coming up. I recorded it like a month ago, but I'm going to upload it. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for listening.